Jeremy at the Night Group, your favorite Austin Realtor. Let's get into it. So the Austin housing market numbers come out and it is pretty darn interesting. What we saw over the last 2 years was a crazy ride up. Now we're starting to see that crazy ride down. And I really do have a feeling that a lot of people are going to look at 2023 into early 2024 and treat it like 2019, where they say, I wish I would have bought in 2023 and early 2024. And let's just get into it and show you why. So here are the numbers. This is the Austin stats. We're down 12% year over year. I'm going to show you why this may be wrong, because I've already found a pretty big discrepancy. Number one, I'm the only one that follows these numbers and actually charts these numbers. Nobody else does. So in charting these numbers, I already found a couple mistakes. So number one, let's look at this. So the median price is down 12% year over year. And this is City of Austin. So when people look at these, they usually look at the MSA or they look at Austin. So the MSA numbers are the ones that get printed more widely, which encompass 5 counties. I've gone over why I don't think Caldwell should be in. And it does touch Austin about by that much. So 20% down in Pflugerville. We'll look at the numbers. I'll actually pull it for you, Aaron. At the end of this, I'll pull up the Pflugerville stats and show you the Pflugerville stat number, because that might have changed a little bit. So anyway, so here we go. So what's interesting is it shows that we're up 26 days for average days on market. If you look at last month, which was June, it was at 42 days. And it's at 43 now. So this is a year over year stat. What's interesting to me is that new listings are down. And nationally, we're going to go over this. Nationally, listings are down kind of across the country. We have a really low inventory. So that's what's keeping prices artificially high in a lot of markets. Unfortunately, Austin saw a lot of inventory, which we've talked about this year. The thing that's interesting to me is that we're at 3.9 months inventory, but pending sales went up. And if you look at the closed sales right here, so pending sales is up 13%. But if we look at the closed sales, they're down 1%. Now, this is where who you listen to and what you watch comes into hand, because I actually charted this. So real quick, here's the numbers. It's showing Austin is down below 2021 numbers right now. Austin prices dropped below 2021 numbers according to this. I'm going to show you why I think that might actually be wrong, but we'll see that in a second. But here's what I found interesting about that Austin number is the sales, the closed sales. It shows that it was down 1%. The closed sales are actually over last year. So imagine that. They're saying that we're actually down 1%, but we're actually flat. So that made me actually go search and look at the sales for the last month and actually see what happened there. Here's what I found interesting. Here's the stats that I pulled. Make sure you can see this. Okay, here's the stats that I pulled. So for the month of July, I showed 875 closings. This information that came out showed 837. So I'm pulling more closings, but I've noticed that, and this is with me niching down and putting only Travis County. But what I noticed is that the closed sales that I pull for comps is at 575. So some people say you can't pull this data from the MLS, but this is the data from the MLS. This is all the closings from the MLS. And it's showing that the accumulative days on market was only 25, but we are selling at 96% of list price. So if you're looking at where you should be offering or how you should be offering, know that most homes are selling 4% below list price. Now that price is actually a lot lower probably, but that's on the median. But the average really is 575 and they are posting us at 550. So however they pull these numbers, I think they're wrong there. Let's look at the MSA, which is the larger area. Sean says, I'm so glad I didn't buy there and moved away. Okay, good for you, man. Aaron says, listings are down because summer season is almost over and kids are back to school. Tax and interest rates are crazy. Yeah, agree with you both. So here's what's interesting. I agree with you, Aaron, that is part of it, but that is what happens pretty much every single year. Let me pull up the closed numbers here. Where's my chart? Come on, man. There we go. So every year, this time of year, July comes around and sales plummet. I mean, they plummet. But if that's the case, remember these sales are pretty much a month behind. So this July sales is for all the homes that went under contract in June. This June is for pretty much all the homes that went under contract in May. So if you think about this, we actually saw an increase, according to their numbers, we actually saw an increase of pending sales both in the MSA and in Austin, 14%. That's why active listings aren't as high as they probably would have. And Austin, the MSA actually stayed at 3.7 months inventory. So it didn't fluctuate. And this sales number is wrong here as well. It shows that it's up less than 1%. It's actually down. I think these are probably reverted. I think that's what happened. I think that's exactly what happened, is that this should have been up a quarter of a percent or whatever this was for the Austin numbers, and the MSA numbers were down 1%. Now I figured out what they did wrong. They just transposed the numbers. Okay. Aaron says, I mean, prices are down lower than 2020. That's not true. Let's look at that because I actually have that. Here's 2020 for the Austin area. This is Austin, not the MSA, which is the larger area. We ended the year at 461. We are down below 2021's numbers, but not necessarily 2020's numbers. And again, I really think this number should be 575, which is right at 2020's numbers. So this is where we are in the Austin housing market. Pretty interesting that we're seeing these numbers. Obviously, there still is a lot of inventory. We're hanging around for the Austin market around 11,990 homes. It goes up Thursdays. It usually lists, and I've been watching it. So we've been staying in that. So we're not really seeing a huge increase of inventory right now. And it could be to Aaron's point. Yet we're not seeing a huge decrease in inventory either. Now, if you are getting ready to buy, like I've been saying for a long time, this is probably going to be the time of the year to buy versus the beginning, because, I mean, we are close to the beginning of the year's prices, but it's definitely becoming a better time to buy than it was in April, May, or June. So why I say that, though, is that if you're looking at this time of year, it's tough because interest rates are definitely higher. It's something we're going to talk about. Yet we see a lot more inventory right now. We see a lot more inventory than we saw at the beginning of the year. So if you are buying or getting ready to buy it, yes, interest rates are higher, but we are able to negotiate deals. We are getting close to those below 2021 numbers. So realistically, if you would have bought in 2021, you were probably still in a better position, because at 2021 at 575, you probably had a 2.5% to 3% interest rates, where right now it's at 7% interest rate. And we're going to get into why that might be kind of important right here. Thanks for watching this short of the Real Amigos podcast. For more live streams, hit here. For more clips, hit here. We'll catch you on the next one.